What's up, guys? It's me, Spectrar, here in another video on Wayward Tyrant Frontier. What if? I used to do a series where I did a bunch of like what if videos where I explained an idea I had that would be cool, as in like what if this was in the game. And I had a thought. You may recognize this from the last episode of where I ended with my ship damaged. And I had a thought. We have these cool repair drones that can come out and repair your ship, and they're nice, but there's different things that they don't repair super fast, and they can be easily destroyed just by like firing off my cannon. I mean, typically they get destroyed from that. I'll try to recreate that better once it recharges. Like, for instance, boom, I fired it off and both of those drones were just instantly destroyed. But what, and like we have like things like these fires going on inside, and the repair drones are not repairing or getting rid of that fire nearly fast enough. I mean, is the fire even still? I mean, the fire is still. Yeah, the fire, it just needed a second to render. It's destroying my ship. But what if there was internal repair drones you could deploy? It would be another system module, much like the repair drones, but they would like. You could attune them to being kind of like the little critters you find in abandoned stations that you fight, but they're like little repair drones that take use of the hallways. And so they would travel along the hallways and repair only internal damage, not external. There'd be no external repair. What I mean by that is, like, you have the nanite aura that does repair systems or repair exterior. It does not repair exterior at all, and maybe even limit it to not being able to repair armor, but just like systems and conduits, possibly structure, and like putting out fires. And the cool thing about them is that they would not be limited. They couldn't be destroyed while they're trying to repair something. But and it may sound a little bit OP of like, oh, well, they can just repair you from the inside constantly. They would still use the gray goo. And the limiting factor would be obviously only internal systems would be repaired, and it's limited by hallways, and almost kind of have the same repair distance as like a repair gun, maybe a little bit further so that they can be a little bit more useful. But it'd be like deploying automated crew AI that would not like meander around, but immediately seek out damaged components that they can reach and come repair them or put out fires. But I think the cool part that kind of offsets them from possibly being a little bit too overpowered is the fact that they are limited by hallways. So you have to use up room that you would otherwise dedicate to other systems to allow there to be hallway routes throughout your ship so that your repair drones can get to places to actually repair. I think that could be really cool. So if you built a ship that doesn't have a lot of access to everything and does minimal hallways, these internal repair drones or internal repair bots would be of no use. But if you're kind of like me and a lot of the ships you've seen in this game, where you have hallways to everything, to where you can almost reach everything inside the ship, these repair drones would instantly be able to be deployed and instantly go to sources of damage or fires and take care of them internally for you. They wouldn't die to lack of oxygen either, which would be useful in comparison to actual crew members. But I think that could be a really cool addition, because you see this guy, there's clearly damage on the ship, but he's just meandering around. So having these robots be able to be deployed would be cool. And they'd be like the drones where they're out for a set period of time, and then they come back in and you have to manually they like refresh on the gray goo, and then you have to manually put them out again or send them out again. And maybe they all deploy from like a central module and then have to travel the length of the ship. So like where you place the module matters and stuff like that. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Okay, so I was hoping to get my ship a little bit more repaired before I started the other what if I had for this episode, but I'm just going to get into it. I've talked about before how the little tiny ships that you can run into that you typically find escorting a ship, they don't have a ton of use in the game. And my thought was, what if you could have them dock to your ship and travel with you in travel drive? But on top of that, because it would be cool to like travel drive to a place, arrive somewhere, hit like one of your commands like you can for like big cannon, and undock them, and then they start flying around you like a drone, but protect you. But like being a custom drone. Now, to tie into that, maybe it could be like limited to just like 2 per like, I guess you could call it like X or like custom drone module or something. I don't know. But on top of that, I think it would be cool if you could have a module that like has to be outward facing, kind of like the radiators are, that could on the fly build these little tiny drones. Now, to offset the fact that that could be really overpowered, I would say that first off, it was limited by size, so it could only be about the size of the smaller drone, which you could customize what they are, maybe, which would be cool. But you know the smaller drone that's kind of circular and has a single engine coming out of the back? That's about as big as they could get, and it costs a lot of gray goo to make it, so it's expensive to make one. So you use a lot of gray goo when repairing, but it costs like, I don't know, maybe several hundred gray goo to make a single drone, and you can have maybe 1 or 2 of them. And instead of having something like a crew member pilot, it's AI driven like a drone is. And maybe limited, to like you can only have 2 per module you have installed. So it costs like a lot of gray goo. It costs a lot of energy to make a single drone. And then you could, with your docking ports, dock them to your ship and travel with them. Because obviously with a drone like that, you can't recall it into your ship like you can like a repair drone. Hoping these fires in the bottom of my ship burn out before I start repairing, so I'm not just giving them more things to burn. So that's kind of my other what if. I think it'd be cool to be able to do, and I don't know, maybe the customizing of the drone is a little excessive and hard to add into the game, so maybe just be like the basic small ships we already have instead of being able to customize your own. I want these fires to burn out because I can't quite reach them. I don't want this one to travel up either. And so that's my other what if. I think it could be really cool to utilize those ships, because you never, I don't know, maybe you guys have, but I always fought them and never used them because they die really quick. But I think in certain scenarios, having them on your team could be great, as especially in like the orange zone, have them be more cannon fodder. And I don't know, maybe have an option of them being like a little bit more heavily armored so they last a little bit longer. I don't know, I think it could be a cool concept of creating more of a fleet of ships that you fly around with. And maybe that's not the intention of this game. That's why this is a what if. It'll probably never happen. But I think it could be cool. I don't know if there's modders out there. I don't know how in depth the modding for this game goes. Maybe I need to try to figure out how to mod and possibly do something like this. Gosh, I just noticed on the like ship map, you can see where the fires are. That's cool. But yeah, kind of a short episode today with the what if, but I think those 2 things could be cool. Bigger custom drones that cost more, and internal repair robots that are limited by the hallways. I think both of those could be really, really cool concepts to add into the game. It probably won't ever be, but it's fun to dream. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.